Hey there, everybody. This is Snoo, and this is the farm of the league. I think the best farm of 3.25. We're about 5 weeks into the league, and by now we have a really good sense of what is good to do. This league was harder than usual to figure things out. Really thought strong boxes was going to be front and center of that, but lo and behold, I don't think so. I messed around a lot with the pilfering strat before. Consistency-wise, had some major issues with currency there. It was for crack addict, gambling addict, really good farm though. The rolling strong boxes with containment and T17 scarab farming, quite lucrative, but man, it takes a lot of time. We also got a few other farms that are really good this league, like a tier 0 farming, either through the Titanic, the Rogue Exiles, or the Shrine Bosses. I think those farms have major issues with liquidation though. And there's a lot of different variables that people would consider when thinking about what is the best farm. Of course, the amount of currency you make and the amount of time is going to be probably the #1 factor. And I think this one might take the cake. Some other things that matter quite a bit is consistency of currency. A lot of people don't like farming something where you're losing a bunch of currency consistently and then you're praying for that godly drop. Liquidation potential, it's going to matter a lot. That's why I think the tier 0 farm has major issues. I'm told, I haven't actually done that farm, but I'm told that you get some consistency through corrupting mid-tier uniques and then, you know, occasionally dropping tier 0s, which are more valuable than usual this league. And for the life of me, I don't understand why the Mage Blood's still as valuable as it is. But how are you going to sell specialized corrupted mid-tier uniques reliably? That's a problem. It's very hard to do. It's kind of like saying the Val Temple farm is like super lucrative when you're farming random items that are double corrupted and stuff. It does have some issues. This farm I'm showing you today is now essentially the elevated version of the Magic Influence pack size farm that I did before. That was, when I first showed it, was a lower investment version. Really good for what it was worth. I was just kind of getting into it. I was excited to showcase it now. I've been doing maps. I've done like 200 maps of what I'm going to show you today before doing this. And indeed, I did drop a mirror. We are going to be target farming mirrors, locks, high tier currencies in general, divines, valdos, and scarabs. Still going to be a big player here, and scarabs are worth a lot, even still. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but everything I just mentioned is super liquid. Can be liquidated immediately. This league especially through Faustus, and I've also showcased that in a recent YouTube video, how I was able to essentially get, with almost no extra time, about 20% more value from what I was farming, which is something you can't do for a lot of farms, such as tier 0 unique farm. You can't just go to Faustus and liquidate everything for 20% more value. You got to sit on it, wait for a buyer, and maybe sell it for way less than you would normally think it's worth. But here we got the exact same scarab setup, similar maps. I'm rolling the maps a little differently, using some bigger chisels. So we're going to get into this farm now. I will be tracking gold like usual. Anyway, we're going to start with the Atlas. I have increased effect modifiers on all the unique maps, as you can see. All non-unique maps, rather. Or maybe it's actually labeled explicit modifiers on map. They actually changed the wording on it now. I have all the scarabs blocked except the ultimatum scarab, and then ambush and, you know, harbinger and some things that can't be blocked. Ambush, we're going to go for even more if possible. I am even blocking maps from dropping. I don't have any favorited maps, so just getting extra currency that way. Some of the spare points to get scarabs. Am concerned about scarab drop. Just like last time, we're cranking up the influence pack size as much as possible. This is indeed a divine altar jackpot farm, potentially. Very, very, very low weighting though, so I'm not really classifying it as such. But as you can see, just kind of taking scarabs where I can, and we're not really focusing on any league mechanics except shrines. So we'll be getting 10 random shrine effects every map, 2 from this plus 3 from the map device, exactly the same as before. I will be rolling the maps special this time. Now, there are some roles that some people have been asking a lot about how to roll the maps. I just want to kind of bring this to your attention. There's a tier 17 PoEDB website that can showcase a lot of different map rolls and what they give. Now I'm starting to prioritize pack size a little more. I like target farming the scarabs and currency, so scarab and currency rolls are also really good. But it's actually quite flexible, the rolls. The real question is, how many are you mandating? Now I'm mandating well, 3 for sure, but usually 4 or more. 4 tier 17 modifiers either give scarab currency or a boatload of pack size. And you can see I have one highlighted here. This is arguably the single best modifier that can roll on the map. For me anyway, it can be terribly bricking for a lot of different characters, like armor-focused characters. But it gives a ton of quantity, some rarity, I don't care about that, a bit of pack size, and a huge 126% more currency found in area. A lot of the maps I roll have this. It's essentially a double currency roll with a lot of quantity. It says rare and unique monsters remove 5% of life, mana, and energy shield from players on their hits or minions on their hit. That only affects me really. My character, as a bow build, freeze-based build, that only affects me when caster mobs get the jump on me and can, like, you know, machine gun cast and stuff. That's about the only time that really affects me. But there are some things like, for example, map boss accompanied by synthesis boss that give 25% increased pack size. The Elder Tentacle ones, which is kind of annoying, also does that as well. Runes of Searing Exarch, some of the hardest mods, Shaper Touched, give the 25% increased pack size. So it's really, really strong for this strat. And I'm essentially equal valuing that mod as a decent currency or scarab version. For the setup, I got 120 chaos in here to mimic the cost of domination 100 times over. And I'm using the exact same scarabs as before. I am a believer in the wisp thing. I've come to learn that I think purple juice is actually most valuable now. It seems like, based on how things are balanced now, not a huge amount of global loot drops, as many of you know. Which means I think the value of yellow juice is kind of less than before. It would seem purple and blue is the best combination here now, and maybe even purple is more important than blue, from what I can tell. I just tend to see a lot more raw currency drop with that. Keep in mind, we do get a randomized 2,000 or 4,000 wisps in variety of different colors on any given monster, so it's always going to come into play in some way, shape, or form. This can make the bosses a lot harder, and for that reason, the farm does tend to be kind of difficult. It requires a really strong blasting character. Here's an example of a map that is S tier. Okay, this map has 6 modifiers that are valuable on here. It came with 53% more scarabs, 196% more currency, and a whopping 3 major pack size rolls for 95% pack size. It's hard to ever get over 100% on that. And yeah, all 3 suffixes give 25% increased pack size, as well as some quant. The 100% more monster life does make the monsters a lot tankier. It is, I believe, 70% more currency. And then we have that one modifier I showed you before, rare and unique monsters remove 5% of life, 126% currency there, and then a 53% more scarab multiplier through the totem mod in there. It doesn't affect me at all. That makes this an absolute awesome map. I wish every map could be rolled this well, but I get a few of these each time I roll these. And you might be wondering how much it costs to roll these. Well, essentially I made profit rolling them, because I just roll them in a dump tab priced at 2 div, and I get spammed whenever I hit antagonist mod, which I've talked about before, and 100% more scarabs. I also get hit when I get a high rarity pack size mod, so constantly selling maps for 2 or even 3 div a piece. But I will factor in, if I don't count that stuff, it is about 40-50 chaos per map to roll. It's kind of hard to really justify how much it costs to roll when you're kind of rolling for profit at the same time. But I think it's very smart to do that, and I suggest that you try to hit some maps that are, you know, key for other strategies that actually require more specific roles, such as the antagonist containment strat, requiring very specific roles. I mean, those guys don't even want to roll maps because it's so hard to hit them. They'd rather just buy them. But anyway, you can see I'm kind of scrolling through some of the maps, and you see a wide variety of different roles. Some of them have more pack size, some of them have scarab, some of them have currency. Some of my favorite maps are actually missing a currency or scarab roll. I would say that my absolute favorite map to roll is, let's see if I can find one here. Here we go. One like this. So this rolled 2 currency, 2 pack size, and 0 scarab. I get a huge amount of value by throwing scarab chisels on here, because that is just doubling the amount of scarabs. I'll definitely make my money back in scarabs just from that. So you get less value the more mods you already have, because it's just the chisel is just additive on top. And you got to keep in mind the chisel isn't affected by the increased effect modifiers on maps. Only the core rolls are. So it's actually really nice when you're missing one of the 3 categories completely and you can chisel. Of course, the pack size one costs an arm and a leg. It's very expensive, and I try to avoid that one if possible. Most of these maps automatically roll with at least one pack size roll you're going to find, but not all of them. And overall, between the 2 to 3 Deli Orbs I'm putting on each map, which is also new, each map costs roughly an extra divine for all of that, the Deli Orbs and the chisel. The Maven chisels can be kind of expensive. The currency one's definitely cheaper than the rest. I feel like the Scarab one is the highest value though, giving a whole 100% with Scarab rolls. As you know, Scarab rolls are less than currency rolls, so that's how it gives more value. I really don't like the fact that the pack size chisel only gives 20%. I feel like that kind of sucks. But hey, if I roll a map with like 300% more currency and or scarabs, okay, I mean, I get a lot of, and no pack size, okay, you know, I'll get a lot of value out of the pack size roll, right? Now I have the Wealthy Exile app, which I'll be using, of course. I always do this, and I just came out with a video detailing how I'm kind of changing. I'm going to be, you know, going over the cost of everything as it is. As you can see here, the cost is what, roughly 124 div, which is not accurate at all. So 124 div doesn't cover everything. For one thing, it's not factoring in the roughly extra divine per map for the Delirium Orbs and the Maven chisels. And it's also just not factoring in the right numbers here because, you know, everything just showing up a bit cheaper. I've come to find that roughly everything is about 20% underpriced of what it should be. So typically just, I mean, one TLDR you can just do if you don't want to do the really hard work of figuring it out. Typically, you can just pull this up and just figure that you're probably paying 20-25% more than what you are, as well as how much currency you're making, if it can be liquidated really well, which is definitely something I'm going to do at the end. I'm going to be able to bulk liquidate everything really quickly, and I'm actually going to get a lot more currency that way. We'll see that at the end in the results. But yeah, we'll still be plugging everything in. Got the regex that I'm using right here, kind of special, no avoid elements. That's 70% chance to avoid elemental ailments. Actually kind of bricks the build. Either rolls Scarab or currency here, antagonist mod here, or 130% more quantity, or 60% increased pack size. If it hits this regex, there's a decent chance it's going to be good, but this is not an all-encompassing thing. Maybe 1 out of 5 maps that hit this regex will be good, either worth selling to somebody else or will be good for this build. So you don't only have so many characters you can fit in there, and that was kind of, this is sort of the catch-all. I'm trying to get as much as I can squeezed in there. I feel like it's a really good regex for this. Just keep in mind, it will not cover everything. You don't automatically run the map just because it's there. Now, I went ahead and, you know, actually figured out how much it's really costing, which is around 250 divines. So about double of what the Wealthy Exile said. So 2.5 divines per map. And before, it was like 1.5 divines per map when we did the lower investment one. That is mainly in the Maven chisels. Slightly more restrictive rolling, and a little bit on the Delirium Orbs. Why am I doing 2 or 3 Delirium Orbs? Well, native monsters that actually spawn the map are affected by the Delirium Quant Multiplier. You can look that up on the wiki if you want. It will be 20 or 30% more quantity and more rarity, I believe, respectively. A lot of the monsters that I'm killing in these maps are native monsters, and they're not just native monsters, they actually spawned with the map when I put the map in. So they're like super premium with Delirium. They're basically the best monsters in the map. Magic monsters that spawned with the map. They could be Delirium or not. And you'll see in a second here, I'm going to run this map. You're going to see most of the loot that drops just drops when I just try to rush the boss. Almost can't help it. A lot of stuff is going to be dropping. So that is the farm. It's still essentially doing the same thing, rushing the boss. You really do want to be able to kill the boss if you can. A lot of people have been asking me, is it worth doing this strat if you can't kill the boss? I will say, at least in this case, with more emphasis put on the loot dropped in the map, it matters less than it did before in the lower investment one. The lower investment strat, which the video before covered more. It was more about, well, more of an emphasis on rushing the boss, getting that fragment. You can always do this on Fortress, but I don't really recommend it. Sanctum arguably has the highest density. I think most people agree has the highest monster density, most likely to fit in all the packs, all the Eldritch packs. And some of these maps, there's a couple of these maps that have like 113% increased pack size, so I don't even know if it's going to spawn everything, but that's going to be a wild ride, a lot of fun. And that's why I think this is the best farm of the league. We'll see what the results will speak for themselves. I will attempt to normalize things. This is actually a mirror and Hinakora lock target farm, which makes it kind of hard to quantify. We've done this a little bit back in Affliction League, and what I'm going to do in the case of this one, because I have been dropping a lot of Sacred Orbs, I'm going to say, I have said in the past, 1 mirror equals 20 Sacred Orbs. I'm going to say 24 this time, a little bit safe, conservative in that case. 1 mirror equals 24 Sacred Orbs, and 1 lock equals 6 Sacred Orbs. Should be about right. 3 to 4 locks per mirror, and yeah, something like 20 to 25 Sacred Orbs per mirror is basically the rate there, especially if, wisping is involved with the blue juice, stuff like that. So I'll give you the real results in the end. I'll try to normalize it as well. And you're going to see, especially if you actually consider the value of Hinekores and mirrors farmed over time, there's no question in my mind this is the best farm of the league. It's also a juicing strat. Most people just want to kill as many monsters as they can in a short period of time. Just step in. If it's a league mechanic, it needs to be fast. Legion, great. Strongbox, not rolling them, great. Abyss, not so great, because it just takes too much time, right? Tier 0 farm, maybe. I don't know, depending on how long it takes. We'll see. But yeah, I absolutely love this strat. I think this is the one that will speak to the most number of players who like juicing, kind of like magic finding as well. It's not really magic finding, but it kind of is. If you consider the wisps are involved, I think a lot of people are going to like this. I think it's the best overall strat this league, and I can't really think of many ways to make it better, make it more streamlined, other than to just have a better character. I have a very strong character at this point, and the POB is linked down below. Melee is in a great spot this league, but, bow characters, once you trip them out with crazy gear, well, they can handle just about everything and do it faster and better than most classes. I think I'm finally reaching the point where I can kind of get away with saying that. Maybe some other classes would reliably do this farm better. I'm basically not bricking any maps at this point anymore. Almost never. Thanks for the strat. It says, my favorite one this league. I'm phasing and rushing the boss without killing any mobs, maximize altars. I wish I could do that, but I can't really, as a bow character, I can't really just go there without killing everything. I could get away with it more if I pulled Mirage Archer support. I've thought about that, but I've decided not to do it. Alright, domination. Here we go. First map is pretty good. So this first map has 2 pack size rolls to get 72%. And it's got the lamest scarab roll, I guess. Got 2 currency rolls. So I think it has 5 rolls that are valuable. A pretty good map overall. Shall see how it turns out. Oh, well, you guys are in for a treat. Roughly 1 in every 10 maps, I didn't really talk about this, spawns at Wildwood. Okay, I did say which ones I cared about for as far as wisps are concerned. Purple, I'm making widescreen here because this is kind of to maximize the Wildwood. This callback to Affliction League. I'm not going to go into major detail about it. I think there are some people who missed Affliction League, aren't exactly sure how to do this. It's a quadrant. There's a north, south, east, west event. You basically, golden rule is find the trails and follow them. And then if you find different colors, follow them as well. Try to find, because they always lead to an event somewhere, which usually has a whole bunch of extra wisp. We got blue on the screen, but that was from monsters that I killed. And it looks like I spawned right next to the blue event because this is a really thick blue pile, so it's going to open up there. And this is actually the single best event in the game if you like blue. Spawned a lot of monsters. Oh, it looks like we got a shaper touched map, so that's going to be fun. No, I actually don't know if exactly where I'm at, but I probably spawned on like the northwest of, because that looked like a wall, right? So this is probably either west or north where I'm at. Best thing to do here is to follow a trail out. I'm going to guess because of how this trail is moving that was the western event. It's not necessarily the case, but it's likely to be the case. I'm going to have to be extra careful. There, it may not be because this looks like it could be a wall or an island. Okay, it was an island. And I know it kind of looked like I blindly went up here, and that's what happens. You'll find an event blind if there is no wisp tied to it. I do have purple on the map, so I actually do care quite a bit about hitting this, but I haven't seen any purple anywhere. The good thing is it's very likely that this is the north event and the other one was the west, so I kind of know where I gotta go now. And I kind of hit the center already, although this could be east because this might be a wall here. Is that a wall? Is that a hard wall? Gotta find for myself. Nope, okay. I was right, that was north. And, you know, it kind of sucks that I gotta do it this way, but I don't really have a choice. Went in blind, and I'm not going to find this event, probably. And I might get away with it. It's right down here, the south event. Nope. Okay, not gonna get to it. I did what I could, and I did find a bunch of purple on the way, so that's okay. It's okay. Quite difficult to do this little mini game. A lot of variance in it. But I don't want to spend too much time doing this because it takes roughly 5 minutes per map. It'll be less if I don't die and there's no Wildwood. It'll be quite a bit more when there is a Wildwood, but it's pretty rare to get the Wildwood. Unfortunately, the Wildwood isn't a huge factor. It's not a huge factor for this farm. Nothing like what it was in Affliction League. There was an event here, I guess. So we'll go out with this, and I will get a lot more loot, more currency than usual because of the color spread here. But as you can see, stuff is going to be tankier. It's going to be more likely to crit. There's an Exalted Orb already. I'm going to grab the shrines on the way. Shaper Touch and Searing Exarch runes. Hopefully get a Resistance Shrine would be good. I got an Echoish Shrine, which will absolutely blitz the boss down with. But buffs expire faster. Not very good altars. Speed Shrine too. Okay, we'll just get in here. Now both I and the boss are going to do a lot of damage to each other. Whoever can kill faster, basically. Actually, I almost forgot to use Progenesis there. Yeah, I came kind of close to dying, actually. Devouring Fragment is the valuable one, and it did not drop, so that's okay. Basic currency dupes, very good for this. I'm hoping to get a Covetous Shrine in the process, but that's not going to happen most of the time. I mean, you just get an idea about, like, imagine if I hit a Divine Orb altar early, what this would look like. I mean, you're walking out of here with 50 plus Divine Orbs, especially in this case. The extra cost in Delirium Orbs is quite often made up for by the extra Darker Halves that drop, as well as the random Divine Orb that you'll drop through the currency thing. I don't feel like you really pay for the extra Divine Orbs in the end. He's definitely not a Uniques farm, but we'll see a few sometimes. I have gotten, I think, probably see a couple of tier 0s drop in total. Well, there we go. That's what I want to see. Now, I have a little system about how I go through this to finish out the map. Sanctuary always spawns the same every time, and there's going to be kind of a roundabout here. It's going to lead back to the middle of the map. You notice I put a portal down in the middle of the map. Oh, this is starting to look really good now. How much basic currency dupe chance do I have? 73. Divines and Baldos drop pretty frequently, to be honest. And I do kind of want to check all the areas because they will spawn enormous magic influence packs. I mean, you just saw one there. Like, I mean, my god, it spawned like 50 monsters. Or it was. Rarity helps for gold is a questioning check. Yes. Yes, it does. And I'm able to get well over 1 million gold per hour. I get roughly 120k per map, I think. But we'll see how much I got after this map. But that is going to depend a lot on, like, yeah, how much rarity you have. This is totally a gold farming. So another huge point in favor of this farm is, I mean, compared to any of the other popular farms this league, this is a giga gold farm map strat that happens to also be excellent for just currency per hour in general. Nameless Seer, yeah, okay. Haven't basically ever seen anything valuable from him, and we're gonna keep that trend going. Just like, okay. Can somebody tell me in chat if there was any tier 1s in there that I might just get for the Dust. I don't think so. So now I'm on the left side of the map, again doing the second roundabout. It's shaped basically the same. It's kind of like a figure 8 that goes on, not counting the front and the back end of the map. So it's quite easy once you figure out the layout to just do it this way. I'm just looting on the go. I'm using the Omega Strict filter from my own filter that works really well. And I'm able to cover everything pretty quickly. So without the Wildwood, you know, I mean, you can probably tell this would have been a pretty fast map. And that's it. After this mob, it's done. No deaths, yay. Kind of came close, though. The bad mod. Anyway, that's a map 1. Not usually going to see 4 Divine Orbs in one map, but can happen. Kind of disappointed with the Scarab drops. It could have been better. We're using ABC for this. And that map had, I think it had, yeah, it had like 90% more life, which made things tankier. If it doesn't have a monster EHP mod, like this one doesn't, I'll go ahead and put 3 Deli Orbs on. It's taken me a while to figure out the feel for that, but that's where I'm at now. Headhunter, okay. LOL. Well, I said I'd probably find a couple tier 0s in this farm. Because I'm target farming tier 0s anyway. I got something that map, right? Thinking no tinks. First map, no tinks. 28% Warlock boots. I don't know what that's worth. Can somebody tell me if 28% quality Warlock boots is worth anything? Well, how much are they worth? Big juicer map. I wish I got a shrine or something. Actually gonna need headhunter buffs here. So, this is what I was talking about. This kind of juice is pretty good for actually getting raw currency. Let's see if I get an unusually high amount of raw currency here. It looks like I might be. This might work. 30 buffs. Bro. Holy. Wisps. Holy wisp. That doesn't happen without wisps. That might be the dupe. Basic currency dupe going off, but I don't think it doesn't stack up that way usually unless it's 2 separate drops, but maybe that was just a dupe. Wait, what? Oh, had it backwards. Whoa! I haven't even started this map yet. The heck? I'm just wisping my own business. Oh, what's this? Ancient wisdom. No. Garbage. The hell? What was that? God. Okay. Oh, man. Never mind. That's all the loot. I deserve it. I 100% deserve it. That's right, bitches. That's how you do it. Actually doing boss mechanics. Woo!
Really?
Reservation. Very rare scarab. I'm pretty sure preservation's about the same rarity as Sacred Orb, based on how I'm farming this. Probably pretty similar. Pretty rare to see respawned mobs drop anything, but dang. Wow. Wow, that Wildwood though. That Wildwood though. The Valdo's boxes are coming back with a vengeance. Where's my whoa, that spawned instantly on the first attack. What the fuck? Oh my god! What's a scarab roll on this? I've never seen two containment scarabs drop separately at the same time on the same screen. That was pretty whack. Massive coincidence. Oh my god, this must be some wild scarab map. Get your magic scarabs ready. Skills, maybe. I could do it fairly easily. What is this map, yo? %408 more scarabs. This map went nuts on scarabs. Still not done, I guess. That's 5 big scarab drops. No dupes this map. But I don't know, for anyone who plays and likes playing at a high level, it just seems like A, it's like, why wouldn't you want to continue playing at the higher level? And B, what's the appeal of things where an economy is like already, you know, scuffed and backwards, and it's like certain things that are good for the build are extraordinarily expensive. A lot of things that are good for the build are incredibly cheap. It feels antiquated. It just feels antiquated to me, at least conceptually. But yeah, again, it does make sense to like newer. I can see how like newer players or players who aren't as good at the game would get a lot. A, they get a lot of value out of seeing that or experiencing that. B, they would be more inclined to like restart the game anyway. They're not that attuned with higher level gameplay. I gambled everything at the end of the league. Okay, so you're forced into it. Oh, second containment. I like the league mechanic. Actually does drop some loot. making targeting divination card farming a T16 only thing. I mean, that's part of the reason why the mage blood has stayed so high, is people aren't target farming apothecaries, right? Not nearly as much as normal. Think about it. If we could scry, dude, if we could scry the apothecary to T exalted orb altar, oh no. Oh man. 2 exalted orb altars, 0 divine orb altars in this farm. If we could have scried Apothecary over to T17, yep, the Mage Blood would be worth nothing, basically. You know that, right? I should not have moved. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm invulnerable. I don't think I'm invulnerable when I come out of that anyway. That's a duped Scarab. %100% sure. Not 100%. 95% sure I get a duped Scarab. Duped Tink Scarab. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's for sure. You guys know that, right? You know that's a duped Scarab, right? Believe. Oh my god. It's died. Yo. What'd I say? You can tell by the shading. And it was a good one. Better than average. Glittering. Yeah. There we are. A big map incoming. Ooh, Covetous Shrine out the gate. Oh, something dropped. I'm actually giddy about that Covetous Shrine right there because it does matter for the currency drops. Oh, I didn't mean to hit a second one. Ooh, I like that shrine. Echoist. Yeah, I'm just gonna clear. Now, virtually never get lost. So this completes one wing here. This is the middle of the map. Kind of back middle. Sacred Orb. It finally dropped. Way late. One Sacred Orb. I'm like crazy overdue for that. I don't know what's going on. Okay. At least I got one. Yeah, and then this is the second wing here. I see a question in chat. I'll answer them in a sec. Okay, trying to spawn all the altars. And then I go back through the front end of the map where I kind of cleared, but not really. A mirror on stream? Is that so? Well, we'll find out. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. That's right. With the covetous shrine. No, I clicked the covetous shrine and then died instantly. Not fair, not fair. Oh my god, I got the invulnerability mobs on this map. That's terrible. Terrible. Map dupes, no! Covetous Shrine again! Re-up the Covetous Shrine! Don't die. Just don't die. Obviously, go quant ready. It's so hard not to die on the vulnerability mobs. Oh. 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 Div dupes! No! This right here. How am I supposed to deal with this? On. Ooh, 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 ooh. Speed again. Oh, okay. Alright, I'm gonna try to kill the boss. Holy. Dude, Progenesis. Do you see how much heavy lifting Progenesis did there? Yeah, could do it. Could be done. Let's see how hard this hits. Stand in the wrong place, dipshit. Oh, lucky, lucky, lucky. Get her, get her, get her, get her. Oh, 13k Wisp boss down. And then I instantly die coming out of the portal, of course. Oh my god. The dream. Bismuth. Barely. Basic currency dupe. Oh, snap. Dupe mirror coming in. Coming in, guys. Dupe mirror comes. It's gotta be here. It's gotta be here. I gotta make sure I don't brick this map. Whatever. Whatever happened. Don't brick it. I'm just gonna kill everything and pick up the tanks right now. Oh my god, that's so bad. This mob type, so bad. Oh god, Kosis is here. Splat. Second Sacred Orb. Okay, not completely getting scammed this league. Oh, Nameless Seer. Oh, you guys want to see what real scam is like? I'll show you in a second. Alright, get ready. Yep. Pretty typical, Wait, Skyforth? Isn't that crazy rare? Wait, isn't this not like tier 0? Starter Quiver, yeah. Isn't that like crazy rare? But it's only 25 chaos though. Well, okay, that's one of the best seers I've found all league then. If I get a tier 1 in there for dust. A tier 1 duster. Dang yo. Dang. The pack size is kind of weak sauce. Third Sacred Orb. Alright. There we go. That's starting to look a little bit right. I still don't think that's quite as many as I should have got, but I dropped 3 in 16 maps, so... Hey. Yeah. Here we go, guys. It is ready. All of the dumb tabs, not full. Okay? Look how little space I needed. 1.5 quad tabs. Got a few outliers here. I didn't really mention this, but with this farm, we see a lot of these bases that are new bases with a higher quality roll are worth quite a bit, actually. This top one here isn't really worth much of anything, turns out. I'm a little surprised. Maybe 1 divine. But pre-split, which you can split these 3 ways with the Black Morgan Beast, apparently. This one is. Okay, this one is worth, I think, 5 to 10 div. And then this one's apparently worth like 20 div, excess of that, at least 20 div, pre-split. So to get a lot of extra value out of these. And again, I haven't really talked about these, but I see these all the time. I just kind of keep forgetting that they exist. But I would venture to say this farm produces more of these than most farms probably would. Just the sheer number of monsters and quantity of loot that drops. A headhunter is definitely a lucky drop, technically, but it was the only tier 0 I got, and I expected maybe 3 tier 0s perhaps. And this Dragon Fang happens to have a 1 div skill on here, but it doesn't matter. So, you know, I'm compelled to count these, but I guess for the sake of this farm, I'm not going to count these, but these sure are awfully common. So this is just added bonus on top. But for the sake of figuring out the currency, I'm not going to count these here. I am going to go ahead and leave the headhunter in and count it for what it's worth, though. Just so you know. Here is everything separated out, and I'm about to liquidate stuff because I mentioned before I'm going to kind of change how I'm doing things, particularly if it's a farm that can be liquidated. Just look at everything on this list. Obviously, everything. I mean, actually, everything on the list can be liquidated through the currency exchange, and I'm going to take everything that's worth at least a divine collectively and break it down into chaos and divines. 3 Sacred Orbs dropped, so that is going to affect the normalized drops. I think this is underperformed, actually. We'll see. But we'll figure out what that's worth. I mentioned before, the 24 Sacred Orbs to mirror is what I'm just kind of the formula I'm going to use for this. And did not drop a lock or a mirror, unfortunately, but not necessarily supposed to in just 100 maps. Probably should drop a lock every 100 maps, maybe. But yeah, that's everything all the way down to the bottom. The spread is here. Scarabs. Scarabs did most of it. Okay? Yeah, if I don't get the lock, if I don't get the mirror, then Scarabs are going to be at the top of the list. Boss fragments, obviously pretty high. I actually got unlucky with boss fragments. Devouring was the lowest number at 41, Blazing 45, Awakening 57. So I believe these have equal chance to drop, and that's how that turned out. Exalted Orb 73, Divine Orb 63, but I did get an Exalted Orb altar, actually 2 of them, one for boss, one for minions. I think it total only, around 10 drops, so that's probably pretty even. There, a few reality fragments, a few divination cards. That the uniques value mostly all on the headhunter, and then it's basically you saw scarab, boss fragments, divines, and Valdos boxes. Okay, here it is. You might recall just a moment ago it said I think 499 div, and now it says 550. With much more in currency. I've now liquidated everything. This was done on stream, uncut. You can see that link in the description, but I'm not including a time lapse for that in every video. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, virtually everything that I felt like could liquidate, I did. I feel like these scarabs, I might actually just 3-to-1 them. But pretty much, you know, almost everything that I can get rid of for over 1 divine in total value, I did. So that was selling it all out. I wasn't that patient. Did it all in, I don't know, about 15-20 minutes maybe. Just try to get rid of it pretty quick. And I mean, what is the math on that? I don't even know what the math is on that. That's we take 550 divided by 499. Okay, 10%. I actually thought it was more than that, but okay, that's fine. Oh, it is more than that if you count it in terms of net profit. Yeah. In terms of net profit, it's about 20% more value than I had. In terms of gross profit, it's about 10% more value. So I guess that's a good way of looking at it. So here it is. Now, as promised, I'm going to do normalized results, but let's just go through the straightforward. Here is 250 divines in total, about 2.5 divines per map. That does include just about everything, including you know, the Maven chisels, average Maven chisels, the Deli orbs, all that. The gross is now says 550 div, 300 divines net. It's pretty clean numbers there. 3 divines per map. roughly 32 div. It's about 9 hours to do the farm, and then an extra, yeah, 15 to 20 minutes. So a little over 9 hours to do that. So that's where that all came up with. And this is, I think this is actually the first time I've ever done one of these videos where I'm including the, well, at least most of the liquidation process in with the time. I'm actually discounting it a little bit with the time there. So don't normally do that, but it's so convenient now. For this league at least, I'm going to do that. Gold per map, 103,000, and gold per hour over 1 million. 1.15. That's like exactly what I always see these numbers at. That's with a rarity flask, double rarity flask. That's it. Like, that's the only rarity I have on gear. Rarity does impact the gold you get, so just letting you know. Normalized. Okay, so I had dropped 3 Sacred Orbs. I'm quite certain I should drop more than that. Not exactly sure how many, 4 or 5 or maybe 6 in 100 maps. But as promised, I'm saying 1 mirror equals 24 Sacred Orbs, and I think I said 4 locks equals 24 Sacred Orbs. I'm actually going to be more conservative with that just in case. I'm going to do 1 lock equals, or sorry, 1 lock equals, what did I say? 4. 1 lock equals 6 is what I'm going to do now. So that would be, yeah, that would be 4 locks to a mirror and 24 sacreds to a mirror. So that's some nice clear cut. And I think I'm being pretty conservative with that. With that in mind, if I do the math on it with the current cost of mirrors and locks are super expensive right now. That would be an extra estimated 87 divines in mirrors over a long period of time, and 80 div in locks over a not quite as long period of time. This added amount would normalize results for div per map 4.67 div and a whopping 50 divines per hour with those in mind for this farm based on how I calculated everything. So that's you know, that's a lot of speculation going on there, but I'm trying to do my best in figuring out. And again, I've already dropped a mirror doing this in like 300 maps. I don't know exactly how many hundreds of maps it will take on average to drop a mirror, but it's not that many. I can promise you that. But I will keep doing this farm a little bit. I am thinking about doing it as a 1,000 maps set, but we'll see. But yeah, there we go. That's a higher number. I mean, even without the normalized, we just count the actual results. Still well over 30 div an hour. This is the highest farm that I've seen. 0 lucky drops were included in that, except for a headhunter, which did not skew the results hardly at all. Bonus 10 div maybe. So I'm quite pleased with that. I was a little worried about the Sacred Orbs not dropping. It's still at 0 after like 80 maps, which was crazy. But we did get 3 there at the end. But yeah, we've got some gambling to do. Definitely going to be opening some Valdos. Oh wait, no I'm not. No, I don't have to do that. Oh yeah, I don't have to do that because I just sold them all, didn't I? Joke's on you. I'm not gambling today. Well, okay, I'm going to do something here. Let me see. Let me see what I got. Let me see. Can you tell I'm actually happy about the fact I'm not blowing all of my currency on the game? I'm actually happy. I'm happy about it. Wait, I don't think anybody wants that. Well, this is like it. This is it. This is it, guys. Wait, do I have any stack? I got some stack decks. Come on. Come on. I got some stack decks. I haven't even seen an apothecary this league. Oh, no. I got some stuff that actually showed up, though. All right. The Golden Hand attempts to make some Giga items. Ooh. That's not really worth anything special. I did hit 6% life on this last time I hit it, but not this time. Wrecked. Alright, is this worth anything? This is actually a decent roll. This is definitely a few divines. This is a few divines, for sure, like maybe 5 to 10 at the most. But it's definitely a few. So, 1 winner and a bunch of dusts waiting to happen. Right. Oh, I want to redeem myself. I'm cheating. Bonus gamble. Just for you guys. Oh, one on the loot filter. I tried. I can't gamble any harder than that. I got nothing left. I can't even double or nothing a card. I could double or nothing a Sin of the Sickle, I guess. Not worth. Not worth. Guys, it's time for the final thoughts. So I said in the beginning, I feel like this is the best farm of the league overall. Why? Well, there's a few major reasons why. Obviously, it made a really good currency. Top end divines per hour, per map. That, whether you count the jackpot stuff or not. And I love the fact that it is I mean, somebody asked me earlier in this farm, Snoo, what's how much currency do you lose before you hit an item or jackpot or something? They act in those terms, you know, like you would ask about like the Crimson Prison. How much currency are you even breaking even until you hit the apothecary? You guys remember that, right? This farm is not that. If you are able to do the maps, if you're killing the bosses especially, you're way in the green. Again, even on your worst day, if you're doing the maps, clearing them, with these maps rolled similar to the way I was, you're totally in the green. Like, big time. I mean, I can't fathom myself getting less than 20 div per hour on this farm. Because it hasn't happened in like 6 or 7 different tests that I've done on this farm. It's always at least 20 div an hour. Before, you know, going through Faustus and liquidating for the bonus amount, before any of that, it's always really high. Counting jackpot drops, it's insane. You know, it's, I guess, according to this, it was about 50 div an hour. So you got the consistent currency that is there for sure. And then you got the fun of the crazy jackpot. Got a lot. What I also love about it is like tinks per hour or whatever, like off-screen stuff. You don't know what dropped, but you're going to go back and check. There's a lot of that. Okay. That's obviously quite different than scrolling through an entire list of uniques and hoping one of them is you hit a mage play or something. It definitely feels a little bit different and a little more enjoyable, I think most people would say. It's fun, fast-paced, juicing. Classic. It's a classic way most people like to play at the high end. So that's what they want to see. That's what this farm offers. All of those things. Finally, extremely liquidable was the other big thing. I think that actually is such a huge deal because now, like you saw how much divines and currency I had in that dump tab. I just transform all of that back into scarabs to run the next maps and buy a bunch of sanctuary maps again, start rolling real quick. I got like 5,000 chaos orbs now. Boom, we're just ready to go. Next farming session, almost no downtime at all. The rolling the maps is a little bit of a process, but it wasn't that hard to do that. So you're blasting through the maps real quick. You're liquidating super quick. You're buying, you know, the sanctuary maps, you know, 30, 40, 50 at a time. Boom, done. Get everything set. Buy your delirium orbs. Transform some of them maybe if you want. It is really fast. The in-between time, which again, I usually don't take into account, like in terms of calculating profits or whatever. I've never seemed to because it's always kind of, you know, what are you doing during that time? Are you relaxing? Are you casual? Are you going crazy? Trying to do it really fast. The point is, it's really streamlined. You can do it super fast. This league in particular. So I love this farm for that. And if I am to do 1,000 maps of anything this league, we're joking about doing 1,000 maps of rolled containment strong boxes. Yo, no, I think I'd lose my mind. I'd rather off myself before I did that. But this, well, you know, it's going to be a longer league than normal. We'll see what's up on the agenda. No promises yet. I do want to do a couple other things. Like I kind of want to do another divination pilfering farm, 100 maps. And I do actually want to do 100 maps of the containment rolling box. I haven't shown that yet. I think that might be the next thing I do. The big farm I do. But this is again, to review, this is the sort of elevated, increased difficulty, increased investment version of this strat. I don't think there's much point to go any harder than this. I don't think there's much point to roll the maps any stricter than this. Maven chisels, 4, 5, or 6 good mods for pack size, currency, or scarabs. Makes hella good maps. Makes some really fascinating maps too. You could have one with like 4 pack size rolls and 1 currency roll. Those maps are fun. to do that. You're going to have Shaper Touch sometimes, you have Elder sometimes, you're going to have Searing Exarch Runes, you're going to have some tough maps, but it's a variety. It's actually wide. When you're prioritizing 3 separate categories of roles and you kind of accept any one number of them, it actually makes every map feels different. Really, every map feels a lot different, and I kind of enjoy the challenge. Yeah, T17s are off-putting for a lot of people. It's crazy hard to do, and these maps are really hard to do. I don't want to mislead you guys, but it makes me feel good about working this off-meta build up to the top end and making it work. I still died a few times. I think I failed to kill the boss maybe 5 times, and I never fully bricked a map. I bricked a little bit of a map, 3 or 4 times, so I got most of the value out of these maps. Did not see the Divine Orb Altar. That's another thing to say in pause of this farm. Somebody in this chat said they got like 70 Divine Orbs from Divine Orb Altar on this farm earlier today. What the hell? Yeah, just imagine that. So that is possible. I did hit the Exalted Orb Altar in the middle of the map on this, but I will see a Divine Orb Altar eventually. And yeah, like if you got like 50 Divines from the altar, that is going to change the numbers a little bit. But anyway, guys, that is all for this farm. I'm curious to see if you're running it or what you think of it. I think it is going to be a little hard for a lot of builds, but some of you I know are having a good time, and I've already heard from, I want to say maybe 20 separate people have told me they've already dropped a mirror doing this strat, like a couple day or 2 after I began advertising it on stream. So I know it's working. It's definitely working for some people. And I already got one. I'm going to get some more before the end of the league. I'm still feeling pretty motivated because I'm quite enjoying the Ward and the Freeze and how enabling that is. Quite enjoying some of these intriguing T17 farms. I was scratching my head a little bit about the strongbox rolling thing and then the crazy cracked out Rogue Exile Tier 0 farms. I was like, I don't really know if I want to do those farms. This is much more up my alley, so if I'm going to be doing the same farm over and over and over and over and over again, it's going to be something like this. This is what I want to do. And I know a lot of you feel the same way. And that's why I think it's the best farm in the league. Also being incredibly lucrative. That's it for me on this video. I want you guys to give it a try. Let me know what you think. I think it's a really good one. And it took me a long time to discover this one. But for those of you still playing, I think you have a lot of fun doing it. I think you might get some longevity out of your league experience if you give this farm a try. And you might feel an incentive to really dump a lot of currency into a character, to feel motivated to build a character that can do this. By all means, you don't need a bow build to do this. Maybe not even the best choice, to be honest. But you can find something that works. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.